What's going on, guys? This is Vinnie here, Eight Figure Vision, doing this live stream here with you guys. As we're aware, obviously, it is a new year. There is a lot that we're going to be covering this year on this channel, as you guys have already seen. So let's get to it. Today, we're going to talk about obviously just the elephant in the room, something that has just broken through all expectations this year, that many people have questions about and many still don't have a full understanding, including myself. I'm just sharing sort of my exploration and my understanding of this as I go and as I tend to learn more and more about it. And what I'm finding is it seems like the more that I learn about this, the more questions that I start to have. So right now, we're going to talk about investing strategies. Now, obviously, there's so many different investing strategies out there, but I'm just going to generalize it into two main categories. And this is for those of you who already are invested somehow into the markets, or those of you who are, have questioned or wondered, hey, how do I get into the markets, and maybe have some cold feet or maybe have some doubts or questions before getting into the markets. Well, we're going to address two main generalizations of strategies when investing in markets. Before I do that, I just want to preface by saying we're going to do some whiteboards. We're going to do a look at some charts here. We're going to look at a few diagrams in a minute. Before I do that, I just want to preface by saying that the information that I share here is not meant to be construed as in any way as financial advice. I'm not a professional trader, I'm not a professional investor. I'm not here to give professional financial advice. I'm just simply sharing my own personal experience in hopes that you can take the information and or the knowledge and be able to come up with your own conclusions on your own about what you would do with your own with your own actions that you take. So obviously trading in the markets and any financial markets, whether that's cryptocurrency, foreign exchange, stocks, involves significant risk, including the risk of losing all or portion of your money. And obviously, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Obviously, there are no promises or guarantees, only probabilities. So I may be talking about some hypotheticals. I may be bringing up also some real examples that have happened. So just understand the preface of all of that in the beginning. So with that said, guys, let's talk about these two investment strategies. Okay, let me see if I could pull up. All right. Two types of investment strategies. Okay, so what you have here is on the left side, the main question is, actually, I'll just do this. Should I trade or should I hold? Okay, now those of you who are in Bitcoin, obviously there's a lot of talk about, there's always a debate about whether you should trade or whether you should hold. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a few of those sort of reasons and situations why you might want to do one with the other. Okay, one versus the other. Now, in order to compare the two, let's look at a real life example applied in the actual market. So when we look at a particular asset, right, it's up to us to determine, right, what our strategy is. Now, by the way, any strategy can work or cannot work, right? So it's important to you to figure out the time horizon, and important for you to understand how essentially look at the risk versus the reward. So at least that's what I do, right? But there's been so much talk about this little thing right here, this thing. So much talk about Bitcoin, right? And it makes you wonder, what's all the hubbub? What is all the hubbub with Bitcoin? And when you look at it, in all actuality, actually what I can do is I can pause this, and I can do a new share with you guys. That should be a lot better. Now you guys will be able to see. Yeah. So there's a lot of talk about this right here, Bitcoin. Everybody wants it, right? Now, obviously, you can always buy, you can always, right now, you can still buy Bitcoin, essentially. And why does everybody want Bitcoin? Well, because it's made, just in the last year, it's made such a parabolic growth that those who got in at this point, where if you see where it was, you'll see that at this point, Bitcoin was trading at only $8,000 12 months ago, January 2020. Today, it's trading at, it hit 40,000 only a month ago. Now it's at $34,000. Guys, so just think of that. Think of what that creates. So that means that if you put $8,000 in a Bitcoin back then, you would currently have $34,000. If you put, that is a 300% return. Obviously, past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but let's put that in a calculator. So if you put $10,000 into this, right, that would be today about $40,000, guys, that you would currently have in your earnings. Now, that is simply only utilizing the first strategy that we talked about, which is holding, right? So what is one of the benefits of holding? Well, quite simple. One of the benefits of holding is you have potential higher returns, right? That is one of the major benefits of holding. Okay, so if you just simply bought it in this time, 8,000, and you just held it all this time, Bitcoin would have appreciated that much in value. Pretty good bet, right? However, if only a month ago, a week ago, actually, you had Bitcoin, it was at $40,000, you would have had to suffer the pain of seeing it drop $6,000 in a week. Let's look at that more closely. Let's look at that more closely, okay? So from Friday all the way till today, Bitcoin had dropped from 41,000 to $34,000. That's $6,000 that it had dropped. You have to go through these swings and these pains of when you're holding, because you're seeing the market just swing you and pull you back and forth, right? That's one of the disadvantages, I would say, of when you're actually holding, okay? And I'll show you guys what I mean. So when you're holding, one of the disadvantages is higher risk. You can lose $10,000 like that, right? That is where trading comes in, because when you're trading, it's lower risk. However, on the other end, when you're trading, there is a potential for a lower return. Okay, and I'm going to explain that to you guys in just a second. But I want to talk about this hold thing because most people think, especially when it comes to Bitcoin, they think that Bitcoin is just you simply buy it and you hold on to it for the long term. Now, that is a strategy, especially if you're a big cryptocurrency fan. It's like a big thing, right? Let's go back and just look at some numbers very quick. There's so much hype around Bitcoin and Bitcoin being this haven or heaven or whatever we want to call it, right? Where it's sort of this promised land and it's the only thing, that's out there. And, you got to invest in that. And that's the only thing out there. But in fact, yeah, let's just X this out right here. But in fact, guys, right, that's pretty cool, right? This right here, this is pretty cool, 300%. But this right here, okay, this is even cooler. You see, that's Bitcoin. But there's a little secret weapon a lot of people aren't talking about, and that, my friends, is Ethereum or Ether. Okay. So not a lot of people are talking about this, but take a look at how powerful Ether's up. I can't find my video anymore here. So Ethereum, guys, over the past year has performed at a whopping, and I mean, it's almost as if Ethereum is hedging against Bitcoin. Ethereum is performing at double that which Bitcoin is performing. And look at the price. Look at the price right here. So if you're an investor, you have to kind of consider, well, I have $10,000 right now. I can buy 10 Ethereum for $1,000, right? So let's do that. 10 Ethereum. All right, 10 Ethereum for $1,000. Let's go back here to my screen. So we're just going to put a separate example here. I could buy 10 Ethereum for $1,000, or I could buy only, like I showed you guys earlier, 0.000 whatever Bitcoin. I don't know what the exact amount is right now, for $10,000 total, right? This is $10,000 and this is $10,000. Now, Ethereum is performing right now at 600%, which means that if I put $10,000, I would currently have, come on guys, those of you who are in it, and now if I put 10,000, it would currently be $60,000 of a growth. If I put $10,000 of Bitcoin, I will have $30,000. So you don't need to go for the big elephant to get to the end of the desert, right? You can just ride the camel, and the camel is going to get you there just as well, and probably faster, actually, right? Just because the elephant, Bitcoin, can take bigger steps, that doesn't mean it's getting there any quicker. than your camel, who might have to do double the steps, but it actually gets there faster, right? And there's so much hype and concentration around Bitcoin because Bitcoin includes the retail investor, people who really aren't, who don't have all the knowledge about cryptocurrency, that there's so much hype and there's so much attention, distraction on Bitcoin that we forgot Ethereum day after day after day. Look at it right now. It's at 4% to 1% right now by the minute. That it is outperforming Bitcoin at a consistent basis, right? Look at some other currencies, right? What's the potential of Litecoin? I mean, I haven't even seen this recently, but look, Litecoin is even, at 150% of return, right? I mean, you can go into any of these and see how they've been doing. Maybe you wouldn't invest in basic attention coin as much, although they do have some pretty cool technology that they're utilizing. So really, that's what I want to talk about. Is it goes back to what is your investment strategy? You see, so when you think about investment strategies, you look at how these markets move, how these different assets move, and it makes you wonder, what is your strategy that you're going to take? Now, I'm going to talk about a little bit about what I've done. And if you guys see, I'll share this email with you that I recently received that shows basically I've been working with a platform now since April that's been trading for me before most people suspected where Bitcoin was going to end up in Ethereum. And it was an Ethereum strategy. It basically buys and sells Ethereum. Okay. It trades it for me. So I made the investment decision and said that if I trade Bitcoin, if I actually trade my cryptocurrency, that I will have a more sure investment trading it than holding it. And what is the difference? Well, I'll show you guys right now. Holding would be that I just simply, as of April, when I first launched the strategy, from April when it was at $126, that I just simply hold Ethereum and just ride it all the way up, even if it crashes, right? Even if it went through all of this in a day, right? I bought it here and I end up with less. I take that risk, right? Now, that is holding, right? And holding it for a certain amount of time. However, what I decided to do was I felt I would get more of an advantage by trading it. And in fact, as I ended up trading it, I will, I'll show you guys essentially the platform that I use. But right now, it's trading at currently, it is underperforming. My investment is underperforming Ethereum that's been at 600%. My portfolio is definitely not 600%. However, my friends, it is performing at about 100%. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, right? And trading in the markets obviously, is risk losing all or some of your money in the markets. But guys, I will tell you this. I started trading back in April. And since April, my account has created some noticeable gains for me, something that has been sufficient enough. In fact, has been outperformed what I would have imagined. Now, it currently has performed at about, since April, it's performed at about 100%. Now, 100% is only a sixth, right? I mean, we're talking about a sixth here. Look at this right now. So right now I started back in April with, let's see if I can show you guys. See, this would be pretty cool. I didn't know. Yeah, right there. So you guys could see back in June, I started with $1,000. Ever since June, my account's gone up to this amount. That's a sizable amount, guys. That is phenomenal. So in the last, so that's even crazy. It's only been 7 months. I didn't even think of that. So in 7 months, it's gone up 100%. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. And obviously, this is subject to change. Everybody's results are different. This right here that you're seeing is a piece of technology that is trading in the markets. And what is funny is that I notice how the technology works, and it works in a very interesting way. Because as you can see here, once it reached this all-time high, this bot, this algorithm, this artificial intelligence saw that there was a lot of buying pressure right here, and it decided to sell my Ethereum, convert it to dollars to hold the dollar value there. And guess what happens the next day? A drop in Ethereum. But guess what? I've had my dollars. So since I've had my dollars, I was safe. I was able to retain all of the earnings there while it stabilizes, and it hasn't made another sell position since. So what's interesting is that that piece of technology found out something that a human would only have been able to identify after the fact, and it saw it beforehand and it caught it. And it does that repeatedly over and over and over again. Not to mention, I have other accounts. I actually have 3 strategies that the AI is trading for me. And it's been absolutely phenomenal, guys. I mean, we use all of these 6 strategies that you guys can see here, BTC, alpha, beta, the ETH alpha and beta, the BTC alpha and beta. And you can see that, I mean, just consistently, the performance is definitely something noticeable. So the idea here is, what would have been the alternative if I didn't have a piece of technology trading for me, right? Because we're talking about trading versus holding. Well, here's what would have happened. Okay, let me show you guys in this example. This was a big hit for a lot of the folks in on the Facebook Live. So right here, when you look at this chart, let's take it back to December. Back in December, you'll see obviously that we were reaching, this is Bitcoin of all time back since 2013. Okay. So you could see that last time in 2017, 2018, we reached our all-time high. And that's when Bitcoin just dropped to god awful, a god awful $3,000 in 2019. However, ever since then, we have seen tremendous movement happening in the market. And here is what resulted. So a lot of people thought that's it for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is done. It's over, right? And what we ended up seeing here was this past year, 2020, the meteoric rise of Bitcoin. And it reached again it blew past its all-time high, which you guys can see right here. See if I can draw it out for you guys. So it reached this all-time high right here, where the hand is located. And after it reached this all-time high, that's where it corrected itself. There's always will be a correction. What's happening here? Well, A lot of people are selling their positions. They're cashing out of their Bitcoin. Down here, you have panic selling. People say, oh, it's over. Forget it. I lost my money. So people just keep selling and selling and selling. But the people who are strong, they hold on to their positions right here, expecting it's going to surge up in 2019. And it did. Now, here we are, November 2020. And we start to see the market drop and correct itself. And all of a sudden, we start to see a total new high, followed by new hypes, right? And it just continues to grow. Now, this analysis that you're seeing here is based off of a strategy by Stefan Kassing. This is something I learned in the university in Kuvera. I learned it in my back office. This is a membership. This is a subscription that I subscribe for that you guys see here. And essentially, where is it? Yeah, well, you guys can see it right here. And basically in this strategy, I learned how to understand, basically when the market's going to turn into a different direction, okay, or at least anticipate sort of a change in direction in the market. So my analysis, I put this together, said, okay, well, I expect that Bitcoin will probably hit, and I posted this on Facebook, those of you who want to go back and check, Bitcoin will probably hit somewhere around this mark, as you guys can see, the 33,000 to, for those of you who can't see because my face is in the way, 33,000 to $40,000 range. I predicted it would be around here, around the 33,000 range. And actually around the $37,000 range. And once we started noticing what happened, we saw this was around Christmas time, December, well, a little bit before that, December 1st, we saw it continue to rise, blew right past 30,000 once we got to New Year's, right? Right at the New Year, we got up to $33,000. Okay, guys. Now, at this point, essentially, once it hit 30,000, and I'm going to play that back for you guys. Once it hit 30,000, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who owned one Bitcoin. We sat down and we looked at his Coinbase account. And the guy tells me, hey, Vinnie, you know what? I see Bitcoin's going crazy right now. I see it's growing. Should I cash out? Now, again, I don't give advice, guys, but I showed him this chart. And I told him, look, I said, look, man, I don't know. I can't really give advice, but I'm not buying Bitcoin anymore at this level. I'm not buying anymore. Okay. And I showed him why. And because this for me is a new turning area, meaning this was a turning area, meaning that Bitcoin was going to turn from a bull market to from a bear market to a bull market, or meaning that at some point it was going to change its direction up. And now here it's going to start changing its direction down. So I said, hey, look, I'm not going to necessarily sell anymore. So I'm just going to leave it right here at about 31,000. I was expecting a little bit before that. I didn't think it was actually going to go past here. So what happened? Well, it blew right past it. But right before it blew past it, during that day, we actually did sit down, and he took his Bitcoin, his one Bitcoin that he had, and he sold it to US dollars, and he kept the US dollars in his account. Okay. Now, he's noticing in the meantime, he has his US dollars, his 33,000 sitting there, and he's seeing this go up. And he's like, damn, Vinny, you were wrong. Bitcoin's skyrocketing. It's still going up. I'm like, I don't know, man. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm just going with my own personal opinion, and for me too, at some point, once it blew past 40,000, I said, something's going on here. That maybe I need to rethink my thoughts. Maybe it can go up to all the way up here, 50,000. Who knows? So I held on to my thoughts, okay, and I watched, and then that's what happened. Whoa, what happened there? What happened in this spot right here? Bitcoin in a day. Let's look at it more closely. Let's rewind that. Bitcoin, as it was approaching 40,000, hit 41,000, dropped, and it started to correct itself. Right within, notice it's right within this turning area. And it corrected itself, and it dropped down to 34,000. It dropped $6,000. $6,000 only in a week. After all of that. Now, what does this chart say? This chart says that we're expecting another, basically a correction level here. So we expect the correction level. Obviously, this is just my analysis, right? Could be totally wrong. We're expecting a correction level here. And then once it hits here, it either is going to consolidate and create a new low, or right, it's either going to create a new low, or it's going to meet this area, create new demand, and then skyrocket up, right? So one of those alternatives could happen, right? So right now, this is where Bitcoin currently stands, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is still the turning area, and you can see that one or two things are going to happen. It's going to consolidate here for a long time, or let's see if I can find a drawing tool here for you guys. Yeah, it's either going to consolidate here, or it'll drop down to that correction level that I showed you guys, or it will, once it reaches about here, it'll probably drop a little bit, and then it'll just skyrocket right back up. That's the beauty of investing. Who knows? Who knows what might happen, right? It's up to you to make your own analysis about it, right? And put that on a term, because the true answer, what's the right answer? Where's Bitcoin going to go? The answer is, you might be right. When you look at where it's going to go, you simply might be right. The question is, you're right when? Are you right at the right time? Are you right on time? That's the key question. This is where Bitcoin is right now. So I really give kudos to the experts who have provided me the education, for me to at least talk with a little bit of education about this and just share my experience so far with it, as I'm kind of going in this journey of trading. And let me see what you guys are seeing here. Okay, so I don't think you guys were able to see that chart a moment ago. Oh gosh. So yeah, I don't think you guys were able to see that chart. That's too bad. Well, in any event, guys, the point is to all of this is, what is your trading strategy, right? Are you buying or are you holding, right? That's the key. Because if you're buying, or I mean, are you holding or are you trading, right? Because they each have different impacts. Now, I will tell you, the AI does a lot of this for me. It trades, and I appreciate that it trades for me, because when it trades for me, I don't go through the pain of just simply holding in the long term, going through the fluctuations. Now, uh, in a way, I do a combination of both. And I think a combination of both definitely is advantageous. Diversifying, that's just what I've seen, but obviously everybody has their different opinions about it. So essentially, that is it in a nutshell, guys. Obviously, if you found value in this, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment below. Let me know what kind of strategies that you're using. Are you holding over the long term and just riding out the long waves? Are you trading it? Because for me right now, the AI was able to identify, I'll show you guys right now, the AI was able to identify back here that there was going to be a correction, right? That the market was going to drop. So when it noticed that Ethereum was at its highest point, it sold my position. And while it sold my position right here, then I was in USD the whole time while Ethereum dropped in its value. Thus, I kept all of this. That is why I like trading, especially if I don't have to do it and I can't predict that that's going to happen beforehand, or I'm not too smart or not smart enough for that to happen. I let the robot handle that, guys. And what is that bot that I've been talking so much about? Well, that bot is called Crypto Elite, guys. And Crypto Elite has been quite fascinating. It's been a wonderful strategy. As you guys can see, they have 6 different strategies. All of them, as of to date, have been, have made a lot of people happy at this point, to say the least. But Crypto Elite is basically just a fully automated, market-proven AI crypto trading software powered by financial technology specialist Endotech. They're our partner. So anybody who's a customer, they get exclusive access to these high-performance trading strategies. So obviously, it does use an AI system, and that AI system, basically, filters any market activity that's crazy, that you guys might see, to deliver that maximum efficiency. So they mirror all the trades to our account, so we can see it at any time that we want, and we have like full control. This is key, because when you put money in your 401k, tell me right now, guys, when you comment, when was the last time that you were able to make a modification or change to your 401k strategy? It's not easy to do that, right? So essentially, it does use a high risk, high reward strategy, right? And these strategies are delivered to your account in real time, right? So that those of you busy people who don't have the time to be, analyzing the charts like myself, then you can always just use this. So obviously we have, all those 6 different strategies you guys see here, whether you like Bitcoin, like I showed you, or you like Ethereum, like I showed you, we have a strategy for everybody. Okay, so definitely something to look at, guys. It's probably the most revolutionary product I've seen, because the fact that it utilized technology was only available to institutional traders, and now is available to the retail trader, the individual, the independent investor like you and I. Extremely important. So I would just look at it. It does use a high volatility strategy, so sometimes it can trade up to 94% of your entire account, right? But that's why it is, at least from what we've seen, it's been so highly successful, so popular, right? Because you can buy and hold right? But if you bought and hold from January 2018, when Ethereum was at 1440 till December 2018, you would have had $88, right? It's a 94% loss, right? But so we changed from a buy and hold to a trading strategy, or what we call here buy and take profit, right? So if you held when it was 1440 January 14, 2018, when the strategy was happening till December 2018, right, where it was $88, you still would have had 290% in profit utilizing that strategy, based on what they have, which they publish all of the results and everything. And past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but simply because they trade the losses, they hedge the risks, and they capitalize on the gains. Vitally important. And it's an algorithm that's doing all of the work for you. Now, if you want to see some of these results that I'm scrolling through very quickly, right, then you guys can obviously contact me for more details. But with that said, this is Vinnie Rodriguez. I hope you got some value. Again, remember to like, comment, smash that like button. Make sure to like and subscribe. Guys, if you found value, share this with somebody who you care truly and deeply about. And I'm going to see you on the next video.